So a leader will be frustrated by lack of progress. What scares a leader, a good, successful leader, is the prospect of not being able to move things forward. Great leaders are not afraid of failure. Great leaders are afraid of making no progress, of not moving forward. Fear of failure paralyzes most people. But you're not most people, you're called to leadership. Okay? Fear of failure paralyzes most people. But fear of failure does not paralyze a leader. It is fear of progress, of moving things forward, of things staying the way they are. Right? You always want things to progress, to get better, to make progress. But of course, organizations, like people, resist change. Listen, accepting the status quo is like a death sentence for a leader. Okay? I'm not content with 30 people in my congregation. I'm not content reaching 10,000 people with the truth of the two houses. I want to go into South America, I want to go into Israel, I want to set up the first 24/7 Messianic radio station, a real radio station, just like TBN, without the TBN doctrine. Somebody's going to do it.
Right.
May not be me, may not be you, but somebody's going to do it.
Yes.
So, great leaders and good leaders, quality leaders, cannot accept the status quo. Where there's no progress, there's no growth. If there's no growth, there's no life. Environments void of change are void of life. Leaders challenge what is for the sake of what could and should be. Recognizing the need for change does not define leadership. The leader is the one who sees the need and has the courage to act on the need. Make sense? Because he's so fearful, not of failure, but of making no progress, that he sees the need and acts on it. Am I the only one that has thought of a 24/7 Messianic radio station? Am I the only one? Roberto, are you here? Can you give me some water, please?
Yep.
Cold water. I'm not the only one, but one day someone's going to have the courage, not necessarily the money, but the courage to do it. True? So what separated that person from the rest of us? They had the courage to act because they feared stagnation and being stifled and saying, I'm happy reaching 10 people. I'm not. To the day you die, if you have a real burden of Yahweh, you're not going to be content reaching 10 people. Or 5 people. Remember, I told you this, some of this wouldn't make sense. Some of it, I'm just throwing stuff at you. Do you feel that? It's not my typical sermon. I'm among leaders, so I'm just throwing stuff at you. Totally. A leader is someone who has the courage to say publicly what everybody else is whispering privately. It is not his insight that sets the leader apart from the crowd. It is his courage to act on what he sees, to speak up when everyone is silent. Leaders will challenge what needs to change because they are fearful not of failure, but of stagnation. They are paralyzed by the thought that things are never going to change. They don't mind failing because they know that failure is part of progress. True? But tell a leader that things won't change and you just about knocked out his brains. You just about defused him and discouraged him or her. Okay? Being the first to step out, to see a need and step out in the need requires courage. Courage establishes leadership, not ability. There are a lot of people that are more talented than you and I are. What defines leadership is the courage to step out publicly when others are only talking and dreaming. And they're just dreamers. What's your ministry? I'm a dreamer. I have the ministry of dreams. Right? It's 6 o'clock. I know you're hungry, but please, do not sleep. So great leaders, good leaders, see things, and they have the courage to step out. So the person who usually steps out is considered the leader. Even though they may not have the ability you have and I have, they're the first to step out. Publicly, they are perceived to be the leader. True? What drives us as leaders? The possibility of progress, the possibility of change, the possibility of owning our own land for our own congregation, our own ministry. That's what fuels us. Leaders have been assigned by Yahweh to take people to places they've never been before. Okay? As a leader, you are called to take people to places that you've never been before. And here's the scary thing about leadership. Neither of you. Follow me. I don't know exactly how it's going to turn out, but follow me. Leaders don't always know how they're going to get there, but they are convinced they're going to get there. And they're the first to step out, and they ask you to follow them. They don't have all the answers. They're not perfect. They don't have all the abilities. But it takes courage. It takes nerve. As leaders, we ask men and women to follow us to a place they've never been, asking them to follow us to a place we've never been. That takes guts, koach, and courage. Okay? True? True. I don't know how this union's going to turn out. I have no idea. But we're all going along, right? We're going somewhere. We're heading we know the direction. We want to restore the kingdom. We want to do our part. But who knows? All the Satans that are going to pop up, but we don't know, right? Leadership, listen, I'll write this down even better. Leadership requires us to walk in the dark. Not in darkness like Satan. Darkness is the uncertainty that always accompanies change. Darkness is the uncertainty that always accompanies change. The mystery of an enterprise, whether or not it will pan out, that mystery, that darkness, we don't know if it's going to pan out. It is the darkness, even spiritually speaking, or the unknown that provides a leader with his greatest opportunity. The fact that most people, if they don't know A, B, C, D, and E, will not launch. The fact that you'll launch only knowing A and not knowing A, B, C, D makes you a leader. As soon as you step out and you're ready to launch, not knowing A, B, C, D, and E, but just knowing the call and the vision and the purpose of Yahweh, makes you a leader.
That's right.
Okay, you step out publicly.
That's right.
You don't have all the answers. That's a myth of leadership. You don't have all the answers, neither do you have all the abilities. Okay, people call me up all the time. I have 7 people meet. Rabbi, shalom, how you doing? Oh, I'm so okay. No, I have 10 people meeting in my home. And my husband and I have a burden to start a congregation. But we don't have a rabbi. I say, no, not exactly, sweetheart. You are. You got how many? 10? That's more than some congregations that have been around for 40 years. And guess what? You are the leader. Because you took the initiative to open your doors and have people come in when you didn't know if anybody would ever show up.
Amen.
You're the leader. Now I want to get enrolled in the yeshiva. That makes sense. Baruch Hashem Yahweh. Leaders, listen, I'll write it down. Leaders are usually not the first person to see an opportunity, but they are the first to seize an opportunity, and that makes them a leader. Hello? They are not the first. Has anybody ever seen the opportunity to do this or do that? Sure, people have seen it, but a leader is the first who seizes that opportunity and does so even within the corridors of darkness, not knowing how things are going to turn out. Leadership means follow me, even though I've never been to the place that I'm taking you. Right? Like, for instance, my brother here, Silvio, in the Caribbean. Right? You asking those people, you got 30, 40 people, right? Sacred Name Church, you're asking them to follow you on a path you've never been to. Circumcision, Brit Milah, Kashrut, Torah keeping, that's new for you. Now you're asking them, a Sacred Name Church, to follow you. Now you don't know how it's going to turn out yourself. That's leadership. Fear results in missed opportunities. Doing it anyway is the essence of courage. Listen, courage in leadership is the willingness to move in a direction in spite of emotions that tell you to do otherwise. Courage in leadership is not the absence of fear. No. I'm scared every night. Some nights I'm so scared. I'm a great man of faith and power. Casting out demons. Great man. There are nights I'm so scared of dying in my sleep that I scream before I go to bed. You? Yeah. You. And Rifka goes, what's wrong? I said, no. She's used to it by now. Now this happens once every month or once every, I'm getting some holy looks, once every 2 months. I know it never happened to anybody else, just me. Thinking about you can lay down and never wake up again. And all the scriptures go out the window and you're paralyzed by fear. It happens to all of us. Or most of us. So courage is not the absence of fear. Courage assumes fear. And leadership does not wait for fear to subside because we'd all be watching. Leadership jumps. Leadership is the willingness to strap on your fear and move ahead. Make sense? Leadership is not the absence of fear. It is the willingness to strap it on and move forward. So, a leader who is called by Yahweh and refuses to move forward till the fear dissipates will be waiting a very long time. Because the fear is not going to dissipate. There's always going to be an element of fear that you're going to have to deal with and struggle with. A leader, a successful leader, puts on fear and goes out and says, follow me, even though they're taking you to a place they've never been. How many times did George Bush run for president before he ran for president? Yet he's asking everybody to follow him to a new this, a new world order, a new this. He's never been there. How is he going to take everybody else there? He don't know. All he knows is he's the leader. True? Most leaders wish they had taken more risks, not less risks.
Yeah.
A true leader regrets not taking more risks.
That's right.
Seasoned leaders regret having not taken enough risks. Leaders view failure, as I said earlier, differently. The difference is a leader fears not failure, but fears lack of progress. You with me? A leader's desire for progress will usually override his inhibition to take risks. When your desire to make something special for Yahweh, to be something special for Yahweh, surpasses your fear, then you'll move forward.
Amen.
Okay? Leaders can live with trying and failing than having not tried at all. Okay? We can live with failure. We can't live with not trying. I said this before, I'll say it again. Leaders fear missed opportunities more than unsuccessful attempts or enterprises. So the leader appears to be fearless, right? Courageous and fearless. The truth is, they also have fear, but they don't fear what the common man fears. The common man fears what? Failure. We as leaders fear lack of progress. You cannot lead without taking risks. You must take risks and fear lack of progress more than fear of failure. What time do we have?
Quarter to 7.
Okay, we're cutting it close. I want to open it up for a few questions, but I want to share a couple more things with you. Leaders, again, don't have all the qualities of leadership. Remember that. Leaders do not have all the qualities of leadership. They do have the calling to go first, to step out.
That's it.
Leaders encourage and instill courage in those who follow them. Somebody has to go first. So by going first, listen, the leader furnishes confidence to those who follow. By going first in an endeavor, the leaders give permission for others to follow. Not what you say, but by doing something first, you're giving permission to everybody else to follow. Our actions are what? Louder than words. Everyone in this room that's called to leadership has the talent to be a leader. Or a talent to be a leader. True? It's true. But the chances are that what will establish you as a leader is not your ability or gift, as I said before a million times. The chances are that what will establish your leadership is the courage you display. You follow me? It's the courage you display. I'm going to throw stuff at you, and then I'll open up for questions. Because I don't want to keep you through and give you a little dinner time. I think that's only right. Money. Oh! Of course, you should have talked more about money than you did about vegetables, but we won't tell them that. Money follows courage. I was on my way to Pennsylvania to be ordained by the MJA, the Messianic Jewish Alliance of America. And I was about to go through their steering committee procedures and be ordained as a nice Messianic Jewish rabbi. This is in addition to my other ordinations. And on the way there, about a month before the Messiah Conference in Pennsylvania, something funny happened. I came into the Two-House Truth. Oh boy. I couldn't go to the Two-House Truth in front of the steering committee of the MJA. They wouldn't have ordained me. I would have wasted my trip. So right before I got ordained by Messianic Judaism, I came into the Truth of the Two Houses.